basically just me. Anyway, I'm out here hustling. You know, I'm feeling good about life, but it's a bit of a struggle, and I refused an order going to Fountain Hills here because it didn't make economic sense, I felt like. But obviously this is where I was supposed to be, because you can only refuse one per hour if you're on pay by time. And the next one was a double going to the same area. And I'm trying to be sanguine about these things. Like, you know how alcoholics talk about let go and let God? I was thinking, you know what? It's okay. It's going to be whatever it is. And so I was driving this way, and I was just thinking about the fact that perfect temperature outside, unbelievably beautiful. I mean, when you have the desert is at its best, just like this in the springtime. And I was passing this because I missed my turnout back there. There's an actual scenic overlook. So I'm out here, you know, I'm not complaining, but I'm actually where people come as tourists, or I don't know, maybe a romantic overlook or whatever. And it's one of those stop and smell the roses kind of things, you know what I mean? But I grew up all over the country until I was about 11. And places I lived, you know, we had actual weather, we had clouds. So having been in Arizona for decades now, clouds are kind of a treat. And anyway, I thought I'd take it along. Where I'm going is, it's a resort that started off as a private tennis club, maybe. And literally, it's the dumbest kind of delivery stop you could accept, because it literally goes through Fountain Hills, kind of up the mountain, as far as you can go, into basically nowhere. It's lovely. They're tipping pretty well, but of course I'm going to have to turn around and come back, which cuts whatever you made more or less in half. But I'm also signed in for pay by time, and so at least on the way up I'm making minimum wage. They're tipping okay. I already dropped the other order off. It's a stacked order, which probably means one of them didn't tip, and it's probably handy that I don't know which one. But I'm a nerd, and I'm looking at whether I can suss that out, but certainly after, so I have it paused afterwards so that I can take a moment to just sort of figure out if my guess is correct. I'm kind of guessing that the resort patron up there is the tipper, because that would make sense. Hey, Marcos. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're a United States Marine and you're from Brazil? I mean, that's certainly possible. Or you're just a fan of the Marines? I'm a fan of the Marines. Wasn't one myself. Right out of high school, the Marines called, and that sounded pretty macho, so I went down to talk to them. They took one look at me and said, the Navy's down the hall. I laughed because I was used to being teased about my size. I'm a big burly man now, but when I went into high school, I was 4'11" and 72 pounds. So it didn't bother me that, you know, that they're razzing me or whatever, but he says, no, I'm serious, you're not going to make weight. So for no other reason than the fact that the Navy was down the hall, and my dad washed out as an Air Force fighter pilot because of some blacking out, I went to talk to the Navy, and you know, I like taking tests. I'm a nerd, and I pretty much aced the ASVAB. Had my so I asked them, you know, well, how's this work? They said, well, it depends on what test you pass. I said, well, cool. What's the hardest test you have? They said nuclear science. Now, at that point, I'd never had a physics class, even though I was a high school graduate. I was a nerd. I was great at math. I had taken college level calculus by my junior year in high school, and normally it's a senior class, but it's still an advanced senior class. But I struggled in chemistry. In hindsight, I think my chemistry teacher was dyslexic. I liked her a lot, but I got a near eidetic memory. She'd write stuff on the board. If she'd write it wrong, I'd remember it wrong, and then I'd have to remember later that, oh, that's the thing she wrote wrong, and I need to adjust or whatever, you know. So I didn't take physics. So I take the Navy's nuclear science test. I apparently aced it, and they were hustling me through the process using the assumption close, and I balked a little bit because I'm like, hey, I came down to find out about college money. I didn't come down to join today. And they pushed me a little more, and they're like, well, we need a man that can make a decision. I'm like, well, I made a decision then. Go ahead and take me home. And so I told them I'd think about it. I've been thinking about it for 40 years. Probably should have done it. All right, I probably better get back to looking at the rest of what's going on here.